Hello, I'm Dr. Anthony Basil, and this video is about the L&T chat show that I did with Roger Sanders on the 1st of September. Please do email me at abasil, A-B-A-S-I-E-L, at gmail.com and visit my website at abasil.uk. You should be able to find this podcast on the tinyurl.com/LNT podcast dash 1 SEPT 25 link. In this video, we'll be talking about the 4-stage model for using AI in a learning simulation assessment and debriefing model where we'll evaluate using the AI. So in the first stage, what we have is a pretest. Now, the pretest is using an ipsative or pretest post-test assessment model. The difference here is that the students are going to generate the quiz questions. So what we do is we encourage them to do a multiple choice ABC type of question where they will identify which is the correct answer and then provide evidence, a link to the source of the information as to why that is the correct answer. Now, the nice thing about this model is that it's transdiscipline. It can be used in any subject area. Along with this pre-test question, we're encouraging the students to use an AI bot in order to be able to have another sample question. These questions are then put into a pool where they will be used in the future by other students in order to establish their prior knowledge and get a baseline of where they are starting from. So in the stage 2, what we're doing is actually having the role play or the simulation itself. Now, this can be done in two ways. We can have the real humans in a face-to-face setting where they are standing inside of a circle of observing students and acting out a role play simulation. This can also be done virtually, where we have a webinar with the students participating in the simulation so that we are able to see how they would go through this open-ended problem scenario. Now, of course, this is going to be linked to the assessment criteria. So the students need to be informed about what the learning outcomes are and the key words, the key vocabulary terms, which will be used to identify if they've addressed that learning outcome. Now, another approach on this is to have avatars, computer generated images of people going through a simulation. So in this case, the students are observing what the avatars are doing, and that will be then informing the next stage. So stage 3 is arguably the most important part of a learning simulation, and that is the debriefing. Here, the students are able to discuss in two ways. One, as the actors themselves, any lessons learned, the emotions that they have gone through, what they might be doing differently next time. And the other students that were observing in the circle can then jump in and add to the discussion. So when we have a debriefing, it's very, very important that we have identified who will be the facilitators, who will be guiding the questions and the learners through this debriefing process. Generally, it's one person, but we can also have two people, one taking the role of asking the subject specific questions, and this will help the students to respond in order to be able to identify the learning outcomes and the rubric for the assessment criteria. But we can also have someone who is going to be able to take on the more emotional side, the empathy of what the student has experienced. If it was a traumatic learning simulation, we would want to be able to make sure that they understood that this was a safe environment. So we are exploring using digital twins or avatars to take on the role of the subject specific questions so that they are able to help the students guide them through the responses that we need. That goes into the final section, which is part 4. And here we have the actual recording of the event turned into the transcript. So what we're doing is we're mapping the text from the transcript over to what the learning outcomes are for evidence. This is then matched, of course, with the assessment rubric, and we can even use the AI to help us in terms of getting second marking grades. I hope that you found this interesting. Please do contact me if you have any questions. Otherwise, thanks very much. Bye now.